Well, hello there. Lovely to see you all. When I think of the world, I think often of how there seem to be so many differences amongst people. At least that's what we tell ourselves. A good example of this would be you go to another country and everyone tells you to look out for culture shock. They're like, it's going to be so different. It's going to be so dramatically different. Everything. Oh my goodness. The food, the air, the bada, the da 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 da. And when you go there, you'll realize that the only real difference is very minimal. There are cultural differences in some senses. Like some countries, they might not have what we consider a weekend. Then you realize while you're there that it's more people. And everywhere you go, it's people, being people, expressing people. The whole world is made of people. So when we put this differences or the idea of difference between people, the idea that others are different shapes, we misunderstand the central point of what it means to be human. And everywhere we go is remarkably alike. Even the grass, the trees, the birds. The amount of cultures that have some form of something like a burrito is fascinating. What does it mean to be human when we seek difference, when we seek to label things and put them in a box that does not really exist? They say the world is spherical, yet they seek to place everything inside of it within a box. Who am I if I defy every label? What is the world if labels don't fully adhere to what they are? Wherever you go, there are people with dreams. What they dream about, they think about, is often limited by what they have seen. In the growing monoculture of the world, we see that the eyes of people become very similar. Why is that? Even if they have never left their country, they have similar dreams to others that are outside of their country. Power of the internet is an amazing thing for this reason. Suddenly, the whole world being the same picture, where everywhere else we saw only as far as our eye could see. Now we see into something, we see into the world. People's eyes have changed. So, what does it mean to dream when all the dreams of the world are becoming similar? The likelihood of difference between people has changed. The isolation of a particular culture has changed. The isolation of a particular people has changed. And suddenly everyone is seeing the same thing, growing into the same culture. Suddenly, differences seem smaller. And suddenly the world is much smaller. It's an interesting thing to be alive in this time because you've traveled, most likely, much infinitely further than most of your ancestors. Most people did not travel as we travel today. They might migrate, they would not travel. The concept of vacation is a newer thing. Years ago, people were rather, if not stationary, or unless they rode upon trade routes, they had no need to really go much further. What was it that they were trying to see? There was no desire to travel as much, at least throughout most cultures. They would migrate along with the needs of their community for food, for water, the changing of weathers. Today, we migrate for this need of curiosity, which is an entirely different beast. The luxury to be curious, and the luxury to travel, to become more than what your ancestors were, to become all of their dreams in one. When you have become the dreams of your ancestors, what do you dream about? Because their dreams have taken you this far, and they take you further. When I consider how so many traditions feel out of date, out of sync with the world, it is not a fault of their own, but rather a conclusion of where they have led us. There are great foundations to build upon, but people always seek to return to their foundation. So it seems to imply that life is less about the building of a building, the structures that it inhabits, height of something, but rather how strong are the roots. If the roots are strong, the tree will continue to bloom. The leaves will come in the spring. But what does it mean when suddenly the tree wishes to be something else and the tree wishes to start anew? This is the beauty of fruit. This is the beauty of seeds. And it seems we are the seeds of dreams dreamt long before we were born. To be the product of a dream, it's a feeling that is overwhelming to comprehend, incredibly flattering to feel, and a sense of purposelessness. Where do we find purpose when we have arrived? This day and age, people don't see as much purpose in family, as much purpose in their work, as much purpose in their religion, as much purpose in their tradition. Their prayers are answered by going to work each day. They are given food, they are given water, they're given shelter, they are given a sense of community. But do they still dream? A people that have forgotten how to dream begin to wander. It seems in our dreams we are guided. It seems in our dreams we are led. It seems our dreams are part of an inheritance we are given. That is very different from a dreamless sleep. If we consider the dreams most people have today, it is a dream of excess. It is not a dream that necessarily bears fruit. You could look at the Western world and see people have the dream to not work anymore. This is a dream that calls back to their root, where work was not work as we think of it, but rather it was a way of living, style of being. There was less progression to build a thing as it was to be a thing. That is not to say they did not build buildings in the past, but it is to say there was purpose behind where they were going. When you have reached the mountain top, where else do you climb? When we see TV shows everywhere, when we see the advancement of generative intelligence, when we see if we were to type into a blank mirror and type in what we could imagine and place it in the styling of Picasso mixed with Van Gogh, with a touch of Renoir, it would paint us this picture where our dreams are instantly manifested. What we hope to see is, and the lag between such has levied a war against prayer. What need was there for prayer when you are given everything immediately? And we wonder why religions have died away, why things have faded. Where is it that we are going now? But it seems no one has a clear picture. The picture we are given is we will evolve as humans, become more than what other humans ever were, where we will blend with machines, become man and become metal. But is that advancement, or is it definitive change that one cannot come back from? Where is it that man seeks to go? Why is it that he is discontent to live on the planet he was born? Why is it that he seeks to live amongst the stars? And we see that this illusion of advancement is really a callback to the roots, in which many religions, teachers, philosophers, mystics, monks, those who sat in the mountains in the day and in their huts at night, would tell stories of their ancestors who came from the stars. When we consider these stories, we must consider that our deepest dreams are inherited. We like to believe that we are filled with original thought. We like to believe that there was none like us before. In a sense, there is a uniqueness amongst the individual because of what time they are living, what space they are living, how they react to the world around them. But if all we have is reaction, we are being led by something else. Where are we being led? And is it a destination we wish to go? If we consider what does it mean when we dream, we must also consider what does it mean when we die. For the two are intertwined. The world of dreams and the life after death. Or so, this is what our ancestors have said. So man maketh more in hopes to return home. The branches stretch out to mimic the roots. Who am I in this tree? The family tree that is passed down, and it passed down many, many things, traumas, which seem to shape people much more than they realize or could understand. For they are reacting to what they have inherited. When you think of your parents, you find much fault. We can say they should have done this better. They should have been kinder. They should have been more patient. They should have been more, yet they were all that they could be because they were also reacting to what they were given. You will sense patterns within families. An example, a family has deep shame around pleasure that is passed from one branch to the other, and the other, and the other. Dreams can inspire or dreams can curse. And what is a curse? But something often inherited. Framework, structure within the mind that is difficult to break. The words, this is what is possible for you, and nothing more. The child absorbs what they are told. They do not filter, they do not know better. All that they know is what they are told. And thus, life begins reactive. We like to believe that we can see. We like to believe that we are a guiding light or a buoyant engine bursting through the skies. But if what you have been given was pain, the solutions to your pain have also been given. It's almost a predefined portion to be, because it's either you repeat or you evolve. Do you pass it further down? Or, as some people, they like to trim the branches to prune the fruit and say no more. They seek to stop the repeating cycle in a sense of self annihilation. If we could see that we are the collection of our ancestors, we are the totality of their dreams and their mistakes, we are their good works and their evils. How does one resolve this when we sense in ourselves echoes of the past? Do we live then as others? Do we live then as ourselves? Or do we live in a sense all at once with the illusion of time beating on our heads? Why do we believe in death when the echoes of our ancestors live in our bones? Something about them is still living because you are dealing with the same struggle, the same problems of your ancestors. You are dealing with the same curses of your ancestors. And there are three solutions: repeat, repeat, repeat. Many have confused this as reincarnation, but reincarnation is exceedingly rare. It is odd that we take such a phenomenon as a constant reality, as a sure thing, when it obviously is not so. We are often told in this world many fantastical things. Some are very familiar. Someone else has died for all your mistakes, and now you are clean, but you still repeat. So the hope that you are given a dream. We are told that we came to this world to learn lessons, and we still repeat. But this is not reincarnation. This is inheritance. The difference between the two is quite stark, because time does not move as we think it moves. It is not linear. It is not a story passed from one to another. It is layered upon each other and bleeding into one another, for it is in the blood. What is it that makes us repeat? Or what is it that seeks to stop it? And what is it that seeks to become who we know we could be, or better yet, who we already are? For it seems that dreams are a certain destiny. How far you can see determines how far you can go. So when the world can no longer see, they will go no further. So it is important to be able to see new possibilities, to see new dreams, to see further than our ancestors did. For it seems some of our ancestors knew, and other of our ancestors forgot. And we are living in the forgotten era. A man dreams of the stars because he hopes to return to his roots, knowing who he is, what he is, and actually embodying this dream, actualizing himself. For what stirs the dreamer and that a dreamer's soul is the fear of waking up and to remember that their dream is far away. So if we see in distance and we see in linear, it is always far away. So to dream differently, to picture the world differently, we must see differently. We must see all things at once, layers upon layers, a timelessness where if we were to recognize why trauma persists, it's because at this moment you think you are alone. You think your ancestors are dead, but the trauma persists. Saturn persists. It lingers in your bones. You feel it in your shoulders because everything is happening right now, layer upon layer upon layer. If we were to see as we should see, we would realize we can affect the past in the same way we can affect the future. How do we look upon the past? Often, when people start dealing with their ancestors, they ask their ancestors for things. They believe that their ancestors have departed, but they linger in your bones, crying out to you for help. What does it mean when your ancestors are in pain and you think you can escape it? For everything happening all at once. You are their dreams and you are their body. They are your memories. They are your traditions. Do we see how the past lives? Do we see how the future lives? And do we see that the illusion is that neither of them existed? So, how do we look upon the world, knowing that it's filled with illusion? The illusion of passing time, the illusion of time running out, because something is still echoing. A heart is still beating. You struggle with your relationships and you say, it's because my parents taught me this way. But who taught them? And who taught them? Do we see where life continues? Do we see the echo of what is still happening? So the question becomes, how do we touch the past? How do we touch the future? Because we are in its center. Between tradition, forgetfulness, and remembering. If one must remember who they are, then their whole line would suddenly remember who they are. In the same way that one remembers pain, how it lingered, and child, parent, talk to your aunts, talk to your uncle. They are not different from you. They have inherited something, and that inheritance is passed down. If we understand that we do not live alone, we also must understand we do not die alone. Similarly, we would not raise up alone, for everything is happening all at once. Ascension starts with the family, because one cannot escape the family. One is the family. Your nose, your mouth, your ears, your DNA is all inherited. The question is, what can you lose? And can you lose an inheritance? Because it seems it has not yet been cashed in. It seems it has not yet been attained. This inheritance is a dream, and this dream is a memory, and this memory is truth. The tie between magical things, dreams, and destiny, the seemingly impossible and the seemingly unavoidable are one. The question is, can you actualize a dream? Can you walk in your dreams? Can you live in your dreams? Or will you wake up, see your world asleep?